Live from Connecticut's news leader, this is NBC 30 News at 6.
A deadly accident. A pickup truck plows into a worker in Simsbury. Hi, everybody. I'm Jerry Brooks.
I'm Joanne Nesty. The accident killed a worker late this afternoon at a mobile gas station on Hop Meadow Street near Seminary Road. NBC 30's Brandon Rudat is in Simsbury with this developing story. Brandon?
Well, Joanne, police say that the victim was working right next to the gas station pumps at around 11 o'clock this morning when police say he was run over by a pickup truck. We'll show you live pictures of the scene right now. Simsbury police are out here at the scene taking pictures and taking precise measurements, trying now to figure out how fast this 21-year-old female driver was going at the time of the crash. One police captain we spoke to here at the scene not too long ago says it appears that the driver may have been speeding.
Some eyewitnesses at the scene apparently gave some statements indicating that they thought the speed of the pickup truck was probably a little excessive for a parking area.
Police say a young female driver, just 21 years old, drove right through this gas station and fatally struck a mobile employee. Just minutes ago, police had the driver's Dodge Ram pickup truck towed away from the scene. The victim has been identified as 68-year-old Carl Kaminsky, a resident here in Simsbury. Police say several rescue crews arrived at the scene and transported the victim to St. Francis Hospital, where he died just after he arrived. Investigators are now trying to make sense of this tragic accident. Several witnesses gave statements to police and told accident reconstruction teams that it appeared the driver was taking a shortcut by driving through the gas station.
A Dodge pickup truck operated by a 21-year-old woman driver came through the parking area adjacent to pumps, between the pumps and the store, striking the barricades and subsequently striking Mr. Kaminsky.
Now, we're going to show you live pictures at the scene right now of a yellow barricade. Police say that the employee had set up several barricades around the working area to protect himself from drivers at the gas station. But as you just heard from the police captain, it appears that that driver rode right through those barricades and ran the victim over. Now, to give you an update on this investigation, the 21-year-old female has been taken into police custody. She is now being questioned at police headquarters as police investigators try and figure out exactly how this accident happened. Reporting live in Simsbury tonight, Brandon Rudat, NBC 30 News. Now back to you.
Thank you, Brandon. Also tonight, the owner of American Crushing and Recycling was a no-show in court today. David Wilcox was supposed to answer questions about his assets in the wake of the deadly Avon Mountain accident involving one of his trucks. Now a judge has appointed a receiver to take over his company. NBC 30's Doug Green is here with details. Doug.
Jerry, David Wilcox is now supposed to appear in court November 2nd. He may not have shown up in Hartford this morning, but no one can accuse Wilcox of hiding out.
David Wilcox directed his drivers as they prepared a pad for parking dump trucks. Wilcox operated this excavator himself. He ignored reporters. What Wilcox did not do was go to the courthouse. Said Judge Vanessa Bryant, "I am stunned Mr. Wilcox is not present. He is flouting the orders of the court. He is in serious jeopardy of being found in contempt."
Wilcox is going to be going to jail.
Michael Stratton represents Ellen Statler, whose husband and 3 other people died in the crash beneath Avon Mountain July 29th. Stratton says Wilcox has already violated 3 previous court orders.
I think that she is holding that over his head, and I think it's highly likely that by November 2nd, or even before then, he's going to do something to violate the court's order, and he will be going to jail.
In a cloud of dust, Wilcox sped away from his office. An hour later, a worker locked the gate of Wilcox Trucking. What the receiver is supposed to do is keep Wilcox from selling any property.
I think that he has at least sold 4 trucks that we know about at auction. There are people at the auction saying this man's a murderer, don't buy his trucks, but people bought them anyway. We're certainly going to try to get those trucks back from whoever bought them because they knew.
Matthew Beatman of a Bridgeport law firm was named receiver of Wilcox Trucking in an agreement between Stratton, the Attorney General's office, and a lawyer representing Wilcox, a lawyer he hasn't even met, appointed by the insurance company that's trying to get out of the case. It contends Wilcox had canceled liability insurance on his trucks months before the crash. Joanne?
Thank you, Doug. The mayor of New Haven tonight is considering a plan to offer a helping hand to illegal immigrants. John DeStefano is proposing giving ID cards to allow illegal immigrants easier access to government services. NBC 30's Tom Monahan is at our studio on the Green in New Haven with the story. Tom?
Joanne, some controversy really as to what Mayor DeStefano said or in fact did not say at yesterday's news conference. Some reporters saying today that they heard the mayor say that he was in fact in support of identification cards for illegal immigrants. Well, today, a key spokesman for the mayor tried to put it all in context and said nothing has been decided as yet.
What was said was that we have an obligation to look at, and we are studying the feasibility of issuing some type of municipal ID to undocumented workers.
The mayor's office issued a statement just a few hours ago saying, quote, "The city is not issuing such cards, nor is there a plan to do so," unquote. The concept, says the mayor's office, was only in the context of public safety issues concerning New Haven's undocumented immigration population. For one thing, say supporters of the ID plan, these immigrants have been assaulted and robbed because without access to banks, they keep large amounts of cash on their person.
Yeah, especially in this area here. We have a lot of Mexican families who've been assaulted because people know that they do have money on them because they cannot put it on the bank. I feel that they should be entitled to deposit their money in a financial institution.
But the idea that ID cards would be given to illegal immigrants is not sitting well with many people who live and work in New Haven.
If they can't make themselves legal in our country, then they shouldn't have IDs. And what are the IDs going to be used for?
If you're illegal, I don't think that you should have an ID. I think being a citizen here and working, you should become legal.
On the other hand, there are those who feel that even though the immigrants may be here illegally, they do have rights.
They make contributions to the economy, and they have kids that are in school and need access to services. And I think if an ID card helps them get access to those services, that makes sense.
We're going to continue to explore this very methodically, very carefully, to see if we can, in fact, help these undocumented workers.
Now, of course, this whole business of illegal immigration has become a hot topic, not only in Connecticut, but also around the country. Mayor DeStefano is a candidate for governor, so his position on this should be a hot topic in terms of a gubernatorial campaign in the next year ahead. Live here in New Haven, I'm Tom Monahan, NBC 30 News. Jerry, back to you.
Thank you, Tom. Derby police are looking for suspects after a church was vandalized over the weekend with messages of hate. NBC 30's Lauren Petty live in Derby with the details. Lauren.
Well, Jerry, black paper covers the graffiti on the air conditioner units behind me. Obscene words and phrases were actually dented into the grates on those units, but police and the pastor here at Christian Community Church say they don't think it's a hate crime, just kids causing trouble. Swastikas, KKK, and other racial and gay slurs. These once helpful air conditioning vents are now dented with hateful sayings.
It's so contrary to what we stand for. I mean, you know, bigotry and hatred and things like that.
4 air conditioning units were damaged over the weekend at this evangelical church that doubles as a daycare.
We run a daycare center with 50 kids who are in it every day, and they range from toddlers all the way up to 6th graders. And, you know, to have the moms walking their kids in and see this kind of stuff is really, it's just terrible.
Derby police are interviewing several kids suspected of the vandalism. That doesn't surprise those living nearby.
It's usually a quiet neighborhood, except lately the kids, I don't know where they're coming from, but the skateboards, they're all over the street. They're here till 11 o'clock at night.
The pastor says when the church first moved into this former grammar school building 4 years ago, the back lot was open for children to play, but crowds of kids gathered, neighbors called police, and now no one is allowed on the property. But some managed to do this damage when no one was looking.
Hopefully the people who are responsible for this understand exactly the kind of commotion that they're causing and how it's really hurting the neighbors, and hopefully it's not neighborhood kids who are actually working against themselves.
And right now, the church is using this black paper to cover the graffiti. The pastor says that he estimates replacing the air conditioners will cost about $1,000. He hopes the police catch who did it so they can pay for it. We're live here in Derby. Lauren Petty, NBC 30 News. Joanne?
Thank you, Lauren. A fast-moving fire killed a man inside his New Haven home this morning. Firefighters were called to the Winchester Avenue house at about 6:30. Crews were unable to revive the victim, an unidentified man in his 60s who later died at a hospital. There's been no word tonight on the cause of the fire.
A shooting this morning has New Haven police looking for 3 suspects who were on bicycles. It happened after 7 at the corner of Houston and Pierpont Streets. Police say a man was approached by 3 young teenagers who asked him for money. When he refused, police say they hit him in the head and shot him in the foot. The victim is so afraid he does not want to show his face on TV.
First time in all my life it's happened like that. Yeah, so, and I got my children and almost I lost my life. Yeah, so this is really horrible.
Neighbors say they want to start a community watch group to discourage any future violence.
Up next, she kept her mouth shut and got thrown in jail. But today, this New London protester did have something to say in court about her fight against eminent domain. The story next.
And take a look, another unusually warm day, but that pattern change we've been talking about looking all but certain. I'll let you know when our great stretch will end coming up.
A mother wakes up to find her 4-year-old missing. NBC 30 Live with how a massive search turned into a happy ending.
Tomorrow, losing weight instead of focusing on what you can't have. See 5 foods to add to your diet.
Tomorrow from 5 to 7 a.m.
Don't you get it? She has nasal allergies.
He's right.
Pal, only Flonase is approved to treat nasal symptoms from outdoor and indoor allergies, plus year-round environmental offenders. Allegra's approved to treat nasal and non-nasal symptoms from just 1. Zyrtec and Claritin are approved to treat nasal and non-nasal symptoms from just 2. Only Flonase is approved to treat nasal symptoms from all 3. For best results, use daily. Side effects are generally mild and may include headache, nosebleed, or sore throat. Flonase. Ask your doctor.
Hey, what are you doing? Well, I was just wondering, are those Harvey windows?
Yeah.
Nice.
Harvey Windows. Home improved.
An urgent message to the people of Connecticut. As you may know, Connecticut is the wealthiest state in the nation, but we are dangerously close to losing our ranking. Thankfully, GEICO has introduced new lower rates on car insurance in Connecticut. What's more, when you get a quote at geico.com, you'll receive a $25 internet savings discount on your new policy. We strongly urge everyone to take advantage of GEICO's new lower rates. Please, let's keep Connecticut wealthy.
This message paid for by GEICO, where 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance.
Tonight at 11. Looking for the hottest labels at bargain prices? Online outlets are a popular trend.
$98, you save 52%.
But are you getting the real deal? NBC 30 investigates designer clothes for less online. What you need to know before buying. Tonight at 11. You're watching NBC 30, Connecticut's news leader.
Another day in court for the woman who has spent 2 weeks in jail protesting the eminent domain ruling in New London. Lauren Ann Canario was arrested during a chaotic hearing at New London City Hall. She hasn't spoken during her previous court appearances, so a judge put her in jail, but that all changed today. NBC 30's Lisa Carberg is in New London tonight with the exclusive story. Lisa?
Joanne, she appeared here at New London Superior Court today, and the woman who went to jail for her cause tells NBC 30 why she did it. Correction officers had to bring Lauren Canario into court in a wheelchair. She refused to walk or speak. Since August, Canario has been renting an apartment in this Fort Trumbull building. On a thank you message for Governor Rell's support, someone painted "Free Lauren Now" during the 15.5 days she spent behind bars. Canario moved to New London after hearing about eminent domain at Fort Trumbull. It was at this September City Council meeting things got heated. When she refused to leave the building, she was arrested. Now she has broken her silence before cameras to explain why.
You know, it's out of anger. They wouldn't let us into the city council meeting, and I thought that you shouldn't have a city council meeting without the citizens there.
In New London Superior Court, Judge Kevin McMahon said one state social workers report quoted Canario as being paranoid that the courts are out to get her along with the city of New London. And Canario answered several questions this time, agreeing to enter a plea under the Alfred Doctrine to a misdemeanor of creating a public disturbance. She was released, her message now loud and clear.
Eminent domain is the government stealing land from the people, and the the people employ the government to keep that sort of thing away from them.
A Fort Trumbull business tenant says Canario acted in an important form of civil disobedience.
This one was a very important one because it has to do with life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, the right to own a home, which is very basic, and yet the judge didn't see that. She should have been let out almost immediately. I mean, what was the big deal?
Now, since Canario spoke in court and agreed to the misdemeanor with no admission of guilt, she was released today without even a fine. Live in New London, Lisa Carberg, NBC 30 News. Jerry, back to you.
Thank you, Lisa. A Milford nightclub is set to be demolished, and the city is just fine with that, as NBC 30 covers Connecticut.
I'm Mindy Ramsey covering Connecticut in Milford, where this building is coming down. This former club on Woodmont Road used to be called the Kangaroo Nightclub, but 2 years ago, someone was shot and killed here. Now city leaders say they're delighted this building will be demolished and an insurance claims center will take its place.
I'm Tom Monahan in West Haven. After months of private discussion and speculation, it appears the United Illuminating Company is ready to pick a site for its new headquarters. It's here on this 30-acre parcel of land in West Haven. United Illuminating officials say any agreement at this time would be merely preliminary, that no purchase or sales agreement has been reached. They also say they're still looking at the town of Orange as a possible site. West Haven officials say if their city is picked, it'll mean 1,000 jobs and almost $5 million in new revenue.
And that's a look around the state as NBC 30 covers Connecticut.
It could not have been a nicer October day. Wow.
What a beautiful sunset over Hartford. But we won't be saying that much longer. Not about the sunset, about the nicer days. Big changes in Brad's Weather Plus forecast coming up.
Did you know you're at risk for breast cancer? And as you get older, your risk increases. So now's the time for you to take NBC 30's Test for Life. It's an interactive test at NBC30.com with important facts that could save your life. Plus, look for our Test for Life displays at these locations and pick up a personal action plan card with tips for early detection. Take a Test for Life. It could save your life or the life of someone you love.
Proudly sponsored by Hartford Hospital and Better Bedding.
At the Henderson House, things have changed. These days, it's first come, first served, so you better get there early. Oops, last in line again, Dad. Bathfitter makes your old bathtub new again. Bathfitter will install a new acrylic tub and seamless wall right over your old ones in just 1 day. You'll love your new bathroom, at least as soon as it's your turn. Call Bathfitter today for a free no-obligation in-home estimate.
They may have the label and a nearly unbeatable price, but before you go shopping for designer clothes online, we'll let you know if what you're getting is the real deal. What you need to know tonight at 11.
For a hospital, does quantity equal quality? Does bigger mean better? It does if it means that by being larger, a hospital can offer its patients more. More depth and breadth. More specialists. More experience. More treatment options. More ways to find problems faster. More ways to get you home quicker. And more of the peace of mind that comes from knowing that all the care you need is in one place. Hartford Hospital. More ways to make you better.
When you get a cold, you can't always slow down. But you can feel better, faster, with NyQuil each night and DayQuil each day. Together, they'll give you the relief you need to keep going. So leave the coughing, aching, and fever behind with NyQuil each night and DayQuil each day. Feel better, faster.
As Jews around Connecticut mark Rosh Hashanah, the new year 5766, Governor Rell has reassured Jewish members of the legislature that next week's special session will not interfere with Yom Kippur. Rell called for the session on campaign finance reform to begin on October 11th and said it could run more than one day. In a letter to Rell, 10 Jewish lawmakers reminded her that Yom Kippur, the most solemn of Jewish holy days, begins on October 12th. In response today, Rell said the legislature could convene on the 11th, break for the holiday, and then reconvene later in the week.
Good evening, everyone. A beautiful sunset in the skies over New Haven right now. Our Skycam 30 network with live pictures from the Elm City, where the high temperature today made it up to 72 degrees, and sunset is at 6:28 this evening. What a pretty shot. All right. Our Weather Plus forecast is one of change. Our weather headline says we have more of the same coming overnight tonight. A dense fog advisory is up from 2 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning for southern Connecticut. Savor the weather the next day or two because a huge pattern change is on the way. We've got a time to be here during the day on Friday and just totally different season coming up on the weekend. High temperatures today, mid-70s through the interior. Look at this, up at the airport, 77 degrees, and along the Connecticut shoreline, temperatures closer to 70, 72, the official high temperature in the Bridgeport, Stratford area. All right, highs today, look at this. 84 degrees in Chicago, 81 in Cincinnati. That air will be with us again tomorrow. Look at this, 92 at Omaha. But 30s and 40s in the northern plain states, and this cold air is going to be rushing in this direction late in the week. And when you get a big temperature change like that from very warm to very cool, usually there's a big storm. And I think that's going to happen as well. Enjoy another summer-type day tomorrow. High pressure ridging from the western Atlantic down the Appalachians. Temperatures out there currently, we've got some upper 60s and low 70s depending on where you are. Willimantic is 74 and Danbury 68 degrees. Overnight tonight, low clouds forming along with fog, wind nearly calm, and temperatures in the fairly mild 50s all night. During the day tomorrow, fog early in the day burns off to partly sunny, 79 inland, 72 at the shore. Southerly winds tomorrow of 7 to 14 miles per hour. Yankees play tonight at Anaheim, clear and breezy, 70s dropping into the 60s. And for the Red Sox, game 2 at Chicago tomorrow, skies will be clouding up, temperatures in the 70s. Clouding up with that cold front coming. They're kind of a day ahead of us. Warm Wednesday and Thursday here. The transition on Friday as the cool front works across the area with some showers, a rising chance of them as the day goes on. Looks like rain on Friday night and Saturday as temperatures tumble. Mid-50s for the high on Saturday, 37 on Saturday night with wind, and then windy and only in the 50s on Sunday. Welcome to autumn.
Oh, my. Thanks, Fred. Well, baseball's second season is underway with the Red Sox at Chicago today.
And earlier, the Cardinals showed the Padres why they finished the regular season with the best record in baseball. Kevin Nathan has the stories next, but first, Brian Williams with a look ahead to NBC Nightly News.
Coming up tonight, the president defends his choice for the court and the incredible and endless damage here in Mississippi. It's all ahead tonight on NBC Nightly News.
NBC 30 Weather Plus. Connecticut's only network dedicated to local weather 24/7. Get the weather information you want when you want it with NBC 30 Weather Plus on Comcast Digital Cable. Updated forecasts, severe weather alerts.
Look out for heavy rain and some thunder and lightning moving into Connecticut.
Your 5-day planner. It's the weather information you need, and it's on all day, every day. For the most complete weather coverage in Connecticut, turn to NBC 30 Weather Plus.
There is a book filled with all the answers. People who use this book find exactly what they're looking for. But some people use a different book, which causes problems. No other book is more complete than the SBC Yellow Pages. For more ads and up-to-date listings, choose the book with SBC on the cover.
Your guide to the all-new Hyundai Sonata. It has more standard safety features than any car in its class, like 6 airbags, electronic stability control, and active front head restraints. Plus, award-winning quality backed by America's best warranty. All for $4,500 less than Accord. The all-new Hyundai Sonata. Nicely equipped at $18,495. It's a Hyundai like you've never seen before. For a short time, get the all-new Hyundai Sonata with $1,000 valued owner cash back.
Need furniture now? Raymore & Flanagan has interest-free financing that will fit any budget. And it's so quick and easy to apply for credit online at RaymorFlanagan.com or call 1-888-RAYMOUR for the showroom near you.
Tonight on NBC 30, it's Extra at 7 and Access Hollywood at 7:30. The teams head to Las Vegas on The Biggest Loser at 8. See what leads Earl to hidden lottery winnings on My Name is Earl at 9. The Office is at 9:30. Law and Order SVU is at 10, followed by NBC 30 News at 11, Connecticut's news leader.
Oh, I got the knives! I don't even know how to play this game, but I got them all fooled. It's all in the game face. Little something I call Attack Force Delta. So tonight, Nick Felder is the deadly green felt ninja, and I'm faking it until I'm making it. And no one's gonna know the difference.
Nearly 300 table games, over 6,000 slot machines, and so much more. Mohegan Sun. A world at play.
No welcome mat for Red Sox pitcher Matt Clement in Chicago. The White Sox light up the longtime Cub in Game 1 of the division playoffs. A former Rocket cranked a 3-run homer today, and no, it wasn't David Ortiz. A.J. Przinsky nailing a 3-run bomb, part of a 5-run first off Clement, and right now it's 12-2 White Sox in the 6th. Highlights and post-game reaction tonight at 11. We can't show you the highlights until the broadcast is over. Well, the Yankees start the postseason tonight at Anaheim. Mike Messina and Bartolo Colon, the starters. The Angels have the home field advantage, something the Bombers are trying to ignore.
I think we're just so into what we're doing right now that we pretty much accept whatever happens to us as far as where we have to play.
We won't look at it as a big deal. We look at it as if we could take a game here or two and puts us in a better position.
The Cardinals hosting the Padres, Game 1 of the division playoffs. Reggie Sanders, free swinging on 3-0. See you later. A grand slam for Sanders makes it 8-zip. He had an NLDS record 6 ribbies, and Jason Isringhausen ends a Padres 9th inning comeback. 8-5 Cards the final. And Jim Leyland is in the cards for the Tigers. Detroit hiring Leyland, the former Marlins, Rockies, and Pirates skipper, as their new manager today. Syracuse and rain in the forecast for the Huskies. UConn plays its Big East opener Friday night at Rentschler Field against the Orange. Despite a dreary forecast, UConn coach Randy Edsall says he won't adjust the game plan, but he may want to adjust his TV set to Weather Plus.
You know, you look at it, Kevin, but, you know, who knows what's going to be the game time. Yeah, you look at it, but, you know, we got to put a game plan in. We can't, I'm not going to trust the weatherman that much, you know, to you know, let them determine 3 or 4 days out what the game plan's going to be.
Come on, Coach. Bradfield could be the key to the game, as could UConn's defense. The Huskies lead the nation in total defense with emphasis on D.
I count a lot of D's on the defense. You got Darius Butler, you got Danny Lansana, you got Dion McPhee, you got Dan Davis. Is this the killer D defense?
Hey, I like it. I like the idea. Sure, why don't we go with that for now?
And let us not forget safety Dana Delliston from East Hartford. And finally, the Packers say it looks like Terrence Murphy will be okay after injuring his neck in this collision last night. The Packers said Murphy was alert and awake in the locker room with movement in his limbs, but was complaining of numbness and tingling. Carolina won the game 32-29, and Donnie Marshall will be the special guest MC for the Huskies basketball Madness next week. No longer Midnight Madness. They'll start it at 9 o'clock on Friday, and then Saturday at the Super Show, Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi, the guest MCs for the women.
Well, that'll be exciting. I spoke to the producer. We have got lots of news coming up tonight at 11. I don't know if you'll have time to show those Red Sox highlights.
We'll squeeze it in for you, Jerry.
Thanks.
Maybe
great.
one.
That'll do it for this edition of NBC 30 News at 6. Thanks for joining us.
NBC Nightly News is next. Brian Williams reporting tonight from Waveland, Mississippi. We'll see you tonight at 11.
Quality, style, and elegance